Well, here we are manufacturing some clocks, and we've got a special order for Miss Mary Varner, and it's for a yellow clock for her lawn mowing business in southeast Arkansas, and she happens to be a Hustler operator. She particularly likes, and she has a John Deere, which is what she started her business with. It's been a good old mower. She no longer uses it except for spraying. And I understand that. She said the engine's a little weak these days, and she's going to sometime this winter probably go through the engine and bore it out, give it a little more horsepower, a little more torque, do some modifications to it. And I think that's very admirable that the young lady is keeping her machinery up. And since she asked for a special order, and I have to make these things by hand, it's a little bit time consuming, and you know, to do a good job you want to take your time, do it right. And this doesn't happen to be the face for hers. However, since I'm going to get this cut out real quick because I've got these are in line, and you notice all the times, if you can see them properly, this would be Miss Mary's right here. And this is a face that's going on in hers. She's getting the optional heavy-duty paper. It's a lot heavier, a little brighter. I think this is a 100-pound, and this is like 26 pounds. So anyway, thank you, Mary, for the order. And I will be getting it out for you. As you know, I've got to paint the thing yellow, and that's going to take some time to disassemble this thing and get it sanded, clean, primed, sanded, cleaned, primed, and painted. So we'll get that done, and of course we'll have to disassemble the clock and get it ready to go, and we'll get this face ready to go. We'll get that on there, and we'll try to shoot a few of these steps for you as we go along. This clock right here is with the 20-pound face, and I'm putting these faces over the original clock so it doesn't get disturbed. We don't want to disturb this base if we don't have to. This clock is another one of the gold with orange logos, and let's see if we can show you I think y'all have seen these before when I've put them on some of the photos. So anyway, that's what that clock's going to be, and it's basically, this is going to be another one of those. And we finally got some more red clocks in for you guys that's got big dogs or toros or whatever red mowers are out there. If you'd like to have one of these clocks, we can only get 7 of them, so you know, 7's all we'll have for a while until they get some more in. And quite honestly, those seem to be pretty fast selling. The black always sells real well, the silver sells well, and the white don't sell real great, but I use that generally to when I can get them. I generally sell those for the clocks I have to paint orange and yellow and such as that. So again, Mary, we appreciate your order, and just as soon as I get this thing cut out, then I'm going to start disassembling that clock. And I'll do a couple of inches of that on the film real quickly so y'all get an idea of what I'm doing. And it's nothing special. Anyone in the world can do this. I've been doing it for about, oh gosh, I've been making clocks for people with their logos. Generally, actually, it's never been with their logos on it. It's always been pretty much on the things I've been doing. And I did a lot of them, probably 4,000 of them during my Homeland Security attached to FEMA. And we did those clocks for an awful lot of people, and all the way up to the various high levels of offices. And we are still offering this. We almost stopped this already because it's not selling that well, but we do offer this for children or for some of us old timers that really need all the help we can get to figure out what time of the day it is, or if we even care for the most part. But anyway, that's available. And we've had some people asking for decals. They've seen them on my last few videos. And anyway, I don't have those made and bought yet. I've been making my own. And This one right here, bless its heart, it's been a good one, and this is one I've been using in the videos, and I've just been moving it around as necessary. And I've got some on the mower now that's permanent, or as permanent as you want them to be. And then I've had some failures. I don't know if you can see that. Let me get behind the camera and see if you can see how wrinkled this thing is. This is a laminated decal, so it wasn't cut out completely correctly yet because it's just hogged out of there to just to get it out of the way, basically. And I had several of these, and I showed them one other fella, and he wanted to buy some, so I thought, you know, it's funny, the things that people find sort of funny, and I just find this funny that someone would even want these. But, you know, at the same time, I guess I would sell these to someone if they wanted them. I mean, they're really basically just junk. But what the heck? There's a good one, and here's a junk one. And the only difference in them is this one's slightly wavy because the laminator hung up in a corner when the sheet was going through it. It just wadded everything up. So anyway, it's pretty funny, but I thought I'd show those to you. So, Miss Mary, I'm going to jump yours ahead to the front real quickly. And I hope these people right here don't mind. I'm pretty sure every one of you will think that's ordered clocks that each one of these is your particular clock. And I am doing them in order, but when I paint one, I really have to jump these things ahead. I've already taken the rear screws out of the box in order to be able to put batteries in them, because I test these things for quite a while. All these clocks right here have a minimum of 10 days on them so far, and I like to make sure that they're all keeping time, so I put them back over there and stack them up and just let them keep time. And I check them periodically, you know, once or twice a day. And if one doesn't make it, then it comes out, and naturally it's put aside and eventually sent back to the factory. Really, I've never sent any back, so they're just sort of stacked up. But we've had 3, I think, maybe 4, and I'm going to take those things apart and just see if maybe the hands are making contact with each other, or maybe the bed and the body of the clock, because if it is, then of course they're not going to be able to function properly. So I'm sure y'all probably can't see that. Dadgummit. Let me get over here and see if I can take this down a little bit and maybe move this over. So bear with me. I'm sure this will probably be shaky and all that nonsense. I seem to do a lot of that in my videos, so bear with me. And see if y'all need to get a little bit closer. Alright, come on down a little bit more. Alright, so what we're doing here is we're removing the screws that holds the clock works to the bezel that also holds the glass in place. And that is real glass on these clocks. This is not plastic. Well, that fits real nice. I love it when these pretty good little clocks. I've really enjoyed working with these, and I've worked with a lot over in the past that haven't been that great. But I love that they've got these things on a little stand in here to make them stay in place and hold them together. So bear with me here. Miss Mary, I hope I don't break your clock. If I do, I'll have to get another one started for you. So anyway, bear with me here. And I'll have this apart and you'll see what it looks like. There's one that's apart. And there it is. Let's see if we can get it on the works here and see that working. There we go. Alright, so that's what they look like. And again, these are... Let me wipe my hands on my big belly here. There we go. And I normally don't like to touch this glass, and I very seldom do. But today, all right, you can hear that. That is genuine glass, melted sand. Okay, Miss Mary, that's what your clock used to look like right there. So Alrighty, I'm going to go to work and get this thing sanded and ready to paint. I will be back shortly. Alright, someone said that just happened to be visiting, said, you know what, you really ought to put the sanding on there just so they'll know you're actually sanding these things. Oh well, okay. I'll do that real quickly. So this is called scuffing it up. So that's really what we're doing here, scuffing this up so the paint will stick. And anyway, that's what scuffing looks like. I think I've shown it on the video where we did the flex forks, and the flex forks turned out pretty well. However, it was like 110 degrees when I painted them stinking things. So, you know, today it's 40 degrees. Pretty cool. Hopefully this paint will try to adhere and stay put well. If it doesn't, then Miss Mary will be sanding this one again. So anyway, that's what it looks like. So we'll be back here shortly when we get this done. Alright, Miss Mary, that's how we want it to look. You notice it's no longer shiny. It's got a nice little, it's not really rough, it's just sort of dull, and it's got a nice little grip to it here, I think. So we should be able to paint this thing and get some color on here shortly. So we'll get that set up, try to get that done. We don't want to get any paint on this camera, but we do want you to be able to see what's going on for your clock. So stay with me. Wind is blowing about 15 miles an hour out here. This is not really great conditions to be painting, but sometimes you do the best you can do with what you got, and then you have to make it look good after you've done the best you can with what you got, and you have to go back and correct it. So I'm just going to do a really nice little base coat here, which is already pretty thick. But let's get a look at it if we can without messing up the paint. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Nice glassy shine. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. All right. Miss Mary, that's going to be a pretty clock. So we'll let that sit out here in the sun and the wind, and hopefully get it started to drying like we want it to, and then we'll take it inside. Meanwhile, back at the fort, we're going to go in there and build a couple more clocks, come out and check on this thing, and then we may have to sand it a couple more times and paint it a couple more times. Miss Mary will get that thing looking like it ought to. So thank you for watching so far, guys, and we'll finish this thing up here shortly. Alrighty, here we are. We're going to assemble this clock, and there we go. We're going to assemble this clock, hopefully. Now we will. We're going to assemble it, and we're going to make sure that when we start assembling this thing that we get these really lined up and on these posts properly, because you don't want to mess up your clock hands. And you also want to make sure that you seat these screws real well so that it protects that glass and holds that glass in place really, really well. Oh, that sounded good. You got to remember, when you're using something like this right here, you don't want to get too carried away, because that sucker would strip out a screw in a heartbeat. So what we do is we just run them down a little ways, and we come back and we set all the clocks aside, and then we come back and then we make sure we test every one of these things by hand. And there we go. You can also tell by the sound of the motor how close you're getting. You can also sort of shake it just to test when you get those screws in. And this is what this finished clock is going to look like. I know you've seen one look just like it, so there's this one. And I'd shown this decal to someone. This really is time consuming. If you see this orange fade I put on the outside of the laurel wreaths, it makes the fade follow the contours of the wreath tips. And I was requested I cut this one out, and I think 2 others, to follow that fade. Guys, can y'all not ask for that? That really is time consuming. But anyway, and you know, to be honest with you, it really don't add anything, I don't think, to the clock, because it sort of makes the thing look a little out of kilter to me. But you know, when I first made it, I really liked it, and then I got to cutting them out, making them follow the outline of the circle, and I like that better. But you know, whatever you guys like, that's what we're going to do. So anyway, just let me know. Whoa, I'll just go ahead and knock the camera down 1 minute. But let me know in the comments down below whether you like it with the with that fade in it. Let's see. Let me grab one that doesn't have that. Oh crap! I don't have one. Well, let's see. Here's a blue on blue, and as you can see, it's just round, and it wouldn't have anything like that because I didn't put a fade behind it. And there it is with the fade, the orange fade. So if you like that, let me know when you order a clock, and I'll make sure you get the fade behind it, all of it. So that clock is really, before it gets shipped, we'll make sure that it continues to keep time. So that's one of the reasons why I let you know when you order one that I test these things before and after, because I do not want you to get a clock that doesn't function properly, because that would aggravate me, and I know it'd make you upset. So let's don't do that. Okay, so we're almost there, and I'm going to go ahead and get this big dog clock done over here, and then we've got a request for the silver clock, and we're going to get that one done today, hopefully. And then hopefully for the end of the day, we'll have Miss Mary's clock here with the face on it, and we'll come back and make sure that that you get to see her clock with the extra heavy clock face. So the way we have to put these on, we have to disassemble the clock, put the face on, make sure it's perfectly noon, 6 o'clock, and then we'll get that together, glued in place. And that glued in place, it looks so bad, but hey, as long as it works and stays put, that's what we're interested in. So stay tuned, we'll be back. Okay, almost there. Now real quickly, we're going to put this in here, and I'm going to just turn this. Oh, look there. I already got that thing loose. So that's what that's going to look like right there. You're going to have this hole in the center in order to be able to slide this down over the clockworks before you can put it in place and glue it in place, and then put your hands back on and test again. So Miss Mary, you're almost there, girl. So we're waiting on the paint to dry. You've heard of that before. So we're going to go ahead and get the clockworks ready as we work on these others, and we will hopefully be able to get that together and test it, make sure it's doing what it should, and then we'll get it shipped out to you. So we'll have that thing ready for y'all to look at here shortly, hopefully. Welcome to Max's Garage Mahal. Welcome to one and all. Take a seat and stay a while. We'll try to make you smile. Okay, Miss Mary. Let's see here. There we go. Now, y'all heard me singing, if you can call it that, and you probably won't call it singing. I don't really blame you for that. But we're thinking about doing a contest, guys. Here's what I'm thinking about. I'll put some lyrics or something in the bottom of this video that says what I'd like to have for y'all to try to do. And you can use any tune. It can be that one or any tune you choose. Just use my words. Sing it yourself. You can put it to instruments if you like. You can sing it a cappella and record it. And what you'll do is you'll email it to me. I'd like for you to put it in the comments below. Just record it, put it in the comments below. And if you email it to me, you still have to put it in the comments below, because we're going to have someone that can sing and they can play. We're going to have them come in and take a listen. And if you want to record it in video, you can do that as well. And you can choose the color clock that you like. I've got gold. Let's see if we can turn these things around here so you can see them. And Miss Mary, I apologize for doing this on your video, but here we go. We have gold. We have black over there. I think you saw a while ago. We have silver. We have white. We have red. We can make it orange. We can make it yellow. By golly, you tell us what color you want it, and we can make it that color. You may have to send me the color you want if I can't find it, but we'll figure out some way to make this happen. So, do something like that. You can use any tune you like. You can use House of Rising Sun. You can use Amazing Grace. You can use any tune you like. Just get in there. Welcome to Max's Garage Mahal. Come on in, one and all. Have a seat and stay a while. We'll try to make you smile. And then you can add to those lyrics if you like. So do that, and let's get Miss Mary's clock going here. And we'll go ahead and do an official announcement on this thing and try to figure out all the rules. And you can put in the comments below what you think we should do for rules, and we'll sort of work this thing out. But if you'd like to earn a clock, do a little ditty for me. So we'll be back shortly. All right, Miss Mary, here we are at the second point of no return. Can you actually have 2 points of no return? Well, if so, then here we are. So let me get that where you can see it. Let me get in here and I'll zero in for you. And I'm going to show you just how brave I am. Because, you know, it's sort of like when you're doing this sort of thing right here. Guys, for all you fellas and ladies, gentlemen and ladies, that mow along ditches and ravines and things like that, then this is for you, because when we do this, that clock is no longer good for anybody but you guys. So anyway, what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and make sure we get this big dog red paint off the back of that, because Miss Mary might shoot me. And that piece of high density polyethylene that I was cutting on a while ago, that was recovered from a or actually a part that I was building, so for Big Dog, and that was what I cut off of it, and I wanted to make sure I could use that for something else. So started removing the paint. You know, that paint's on there pretty good. It did not want to come off, so what are you going to do, right? Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this real girly looking purple stuff here, and we're going to go all the way around this, just like this, because this is paper glue. Anyone that does crafts, and don't accuse me of that, guys, but anyone that does crafts, they've probably used this stuff before. And we're going to put a real healthy helping of this stuff on here, because we don't want heat and humidity, and we know that Miss Mary's down there in the southeast Arkansas, and anyone that's ever been to Arkansas, we know how much humidity we have here. And although it's a lot, if you've ever been further south into lower Arkansas or LA, some people call it Louisiana. I don't know where they got that from. But could have been that purchase thing back a few years ago. I'm not sure. But it is so hot and humid down there that coming back to Arkansas is really just like having a vacation, guys. I mean, when you get back to Arkansas, you can rejoice because it's that nice and cool. I mean, humidity is down to around 135%. Temperatures generally in Arkansas never get over 150 and 135% humidity. So it's really nice here compared to lower Arkansas or Louisiana, again, as some people say. And I'm just teasing you guys in Louisiana because I know that y'all think that humidity is wonderful, but gosh, I don't know how you stand it. I go down and visit my nephew and his wife and their kids, and whew, Lord God, it just throws me on the ground. It's so bad. But you know what? That sure is a pretty state, and y'all got a lot more alligators than we got. You know, you go looking for a pet alligator here in Arkansas, and you have a hard time because those things hide pretty good for what few of them we have. And although we have a few, I'm not sure if they've already been taken into captivity and probably trained to be good household pets. But you know, in Arkansas, we don't have that many of those things. But so that's one thing that y'all definitely have we don't have is alligators, and you have a lot more deer population down there we have in Arkansas. So you know, y'all got a lot of things there we don't have. Beautiful state. Sort of like old Ron Fisher down there in Mississippi. You know, he's got a lot of that stuff going on there too, and beautiful state. And he's got kudzu. And although he's got kudzu, he can't claim that as you know, simply Mississippi has the only kudzu around, because you guys over in Georgia and South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, all got a lot of that stuff as well. So, you know, this country's got a lot of beautiful things in it, and we're all lucky to be here. And for those of us born here, we probably don't really think of it as much as the people wanting to come here and share our lives with us and have all the things that we have that they don't have necessarily in other countries. But it's really nice to live in this country. Now, here's something we've got to be very careful with. We want to make sure that this 6 o'clock mark is in the center of that hole right there. And we want to make sure the top one is in the center of that hole, just like that. And we want to line it up, and we want to check everything before we do this right here. Because right here, get my old hands on the belly here, right here is where it comes into play that we talked about earlier, that point of no return. Because once we get this 100-pound paper on there with that heavy-duty Elmer's washable school glue. You know, I didn't have any of that stuff in school. I had, we had flour and water is what we had. But anyway, that's nice stuff right there. But once you get this stuff on there, Miss Mary, I hope you don't want this off, because if you do, I'm sorry, but it's there now. So there you go, guys. So we're going to go ahead and reassemble the clock. I guess I could do that real quickly in front of us and make sure we have it here in the frame. So what I'm going to do is, when I assemble these clocks, first thing I do is I make sure that that hour hand is pointed directly at 12. It does not have to be directly at 12. You can put it on any hour you like. But what I like to do is I like to use the hour mark of straight up 12. And then I do the same thing with the second hand. Make sure you do not bend these hands. You do not want these hands making contact with the face of the clock. You're going to make sure that they're pressed on and they are level and not touching the clock face. So if it does that, these little quartz works are really good, but they cannot rub each other because they will not function properly. So that looks really good. And then everybody likes to have a second hand, because you know, if you try to sit and watch these minute hands and these hour hands go around, you're going to be here for a while. But you can put these little boogers on there and they just sweep around there, and you know, about every every minute these things makes a full circle. I didn't know if y'all knew that or not. I just thought I'd tell you real quickly. So this boring video is not far from being over. And I do want to remind you that if you want to be a part of that contest, then you not only do you have to send me your little ditty, but you also have to subscribe. So make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that notification bell on the lower right corner where it says subscribe. Be sure and hit that. Share with everybody you know. And make sure you hit a like so these videos can be seen by more people. And if you haven't heard, and you hadn't seen some of the earlier videos, then when we get to, it's going to be 500, but I'm going to change that to 250. So when we get to the 250 mile mark, I know it's supposed to be milestone, then you can choose one of these 3 logos and you can get a free, if you win, you can get a free 25-foot tape measure. This one I've been using for a long time, and I've been asked if I would let someone have that, and I told them I would. I've also got one with this face that I use, and I use them both daily. The other one's around here somewhere. And I've also been asked, would I autograph it? Yes, I will, if that is something you want. So just let me know. But at 250 subscribers, so make sure your friends subscribe, and you got to make sure that your name's not hidden. If your name is hidden, you can't win one of these tape measures, and you can't win one of these clocks if your name is, your account number is hidden, or not account number. I don't want your account number. But if your ID, your Facebook, or not your Facebook, your YouTube channel name is hidden, and about 90% of the people hides their names for some reason. So, and that's fine. But if you want a chance at winning one of these tapes or one of these clocks, you got to make sure that your name can be visible to other people, and especially to me, because if it's not, then I can't have someone to draw the name out when we give out the winner to the tape and the clock. So, okay, Miss Mary, there is your clock face. Here's your glass. All we need is bezel, and you'll be in business. And that that clock dries, that face dries, and we'll get everything put together. We'll go to testing again. Matter of fact, we can be testing the clock right now. So let's do that real quickly on camera and just see if this thing goes back to working like it ought to. By golly, looky there. All right, now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the time here. Let's go this direction, be quicker for you. And it happens to be 11:25, and that's about 15 seconds. So I'm going to set that second hand, so it's just about coming up on the 30-second mark. All right, Miss Mary, there's your clock. I'm going to set it over here and let this thing run. And it'll be probably a couple of 3 days before that clock face or bezel really dries great and tight and hard. And we'll reassemble it. We'll be letting this thing test out. We're going to assemble these, and we'll get this together, and it's been tested. We'll come back, finish this video. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we're going to go ahead and finish these up. I've got to take this one back out of the box. I just put that in there like that a while ago for you. Let me get over here when I'm pointing out so you can see it. This is how these things look when they ship. So when you get them, these hands will be at 10 and 2 like this. And even though these got several days worth of testing on them, I always like to go ahead. But I just wanted to put these things like you could see them. So there, it'll be at 10 and 2. Even my old clock, this one I don't run here. It's just for me. And that used to be, I believe this one used to be, it's been a FEMA clock, it's been a Cersei Model Aircraft Flyers Association clock that I made, and it's been a good old clock, but I've retired it. just so I can have it for you guys to see once in a while. When you ask about clocks, I can show you. I can't get this clock anymore. That's got that little chrome ring on it. I always liked those, but you know, it's not a big deal. I sort of like these over here now. I've gotten really used to them. I really like those. So anyway, we'll be back shortly. Hope we hadn't bored you plumb to death. It's sort of, you know, long, but we'll get this together for you. And Miss Mary, your clock will be on its way. Okay, so here we go. We're going to put the clock back together. And what we have to do is we have to make sure that the screws are going into the post on the back of the clock. So that went in real nicely. These things have got little stands, if you remember from the front end of the video, that these have to sit in. And you want to make sure that you hit those and you put those in very gently. Now, this being this yellow paint, it takes such a long time for that stuff to completely cure, and we'll turn it over here shortly. But you don't want to press down on this stuff very hard. Well, this paint is not 100% cured, and I don't really think it's 100%, but it's real dry to the touch. At the same time, we want to make sure as we're pushing down on it that we're not pushing down on that paint too hard. So let me grab something to pick that up with so I can put a little more pressure on it. By the way, with all these clocks ticking, if I wasn't nuts before, I'm getting there right now, guys. So I appreciate the clock purchase. I really do. They help out. And it keeps an old man out of trouble, a little bit out of trouble. So let's see. All right. There we go, guys. Let me make sure that this thing is in frame. And we're up close, really, really close there. So we'll make sure the paint looks good. What do you think about that for a paint job, ladies and gentlemen? All right, so Miss Mary Varner, there is your clock. I autographed it for you. I don't know if you can see that. Let me sort of come back a little bit and get in a little bit less tight. And there you go, autographed. We appreciate it very much. And ladies and gentlemen, that's how I make these clocks. Now, on these particular clocks, I didn't make them from scratch. I'm buying the clocks and I'm converting them to the MaxsGarajMahal clocks. So that's what they look like. That's how you do it. And we'll be building some. We're going to cut some out that looks like a zero turn. We'll probably paint those various colors, and we may even put some different like decals on them for Toro and Husqvarna and Kubota, Hustler, Big Boy. So stay tuned for those. You never know what those are going to turn out like. So we appreciate it. Once again, we're happy to have you. Subscribe, if you will. Hit that notifications bell down the bottom right corner. Be sure and share. And hit that like button so more people will see these. And if you would like to enter for the clock, be sure and write us a little song, send it to us. Make sure you subscribe, put it in a comment below, and we'll put us together a little runoff here, whoever happens to be the closest in winning, and we'll see if we can't get one of you guys out of clock. So we thank you very much. Y'all come back and see us at MaxsGarajMahal. You hear?